Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the entire fragrance line from Kayali, which I just discovered really earlier this year. I believe they launched in 2018, so I'm a bit late to the game, but I do really like the fragrances that I've tried so far. So over here I have the 4 fragrances that I purchased myself. 3 of them I've reviewed on my channel several times, and then the 4th one I just have yet to open. Over here I have the remaining 4, which Kayali was generous enough to send me complimentary, so I would have the entire line. I did go ahead and just remove the cellophane wrapping for the sake of time, but I have not tried them yet. So I am going to begin with my first impressions, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to share my thoughts on each one. So the 5 fragrances I have here that I have yet to try on camera that I'm going to share my first impressions of are Deja Vu White Flower 57. I ordered the small bottle from Sephora. And then I was sent Elixir 11, Musk 12, Citrus 8, and the Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper number 25. And I remember this was the first Kayali fragrance that was really on my radar because the pink bottle stood out to me and there was so much hype and buzz surrounding this fragrance. And at that point, I had started reviewing fragrance a lot more regularly, but for whatever reason, I kind of put it off. But I distinctly remember very mixed reactions to this perfume. So this says Eau de Parfum Intense, the Kayali Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper 25. On the back, it says pink pepper, bergamot, saffron, Bulgarian rose, vanilla orchid, and sandalwood. Based on just the notes alone, I know that can tell you only so much. It sounds like something that I would really like. It looks like a little jewel, and I believe this one might be sold out at Sephora currently. Some of these fragrances are so popular, they're nearly impossible to get a hold of, so I'm incredibly thankful for the team over at Kayali for sending these to me. So here we go. First impression. Oh my gosh. I love it. Wow, it's so beautiful. Kind of reminds me of something. I can't quite put my finger on it yet. Oh, but it's really pretty. Reminds me of a sweeter rose prick from Tom Ford. Not quite so earthy, patchouli, heavy. It's a little bit lighter, more feminine, definitely sweeter. It's really pretty. I definitely pick up on a lot of rose, but because it has that sweetness, it's almost like a candied rose. I almost smelled caramel when I first spritzed it. And I don't really know what I was expecting. I feel really pleasantly surprised. I thought it would be good, and like I said, based on the notes, I kind of suspected that I would really like it, but because I saw so many mixed reviews, I just wasn't sure. I think if you love rose fragrances, you are going to love this perfume. And it should go without saying, but you guys have to let me know your thoughts on all of these fragrances down in the comment section. Wow, really, really beautiful. I'm so disappointed in myself that it took me so long to try this. It's really nice. I have so many other fragrances to smell for the first time. I'm not going to spray it on my skin, but instantly I already know this is the type of fragrance that I would definitely wear. And I don't really think it's necessarily like a moody evening fragrance, which is what I thought it was going to be. I think this could be anytime. Yes, it could be date night, but I don't think it's so heavy or so intense that it couldn't be worn for daytime either. My first impression is going to be the Citrus 08. On the back it says bergamot, pink grapefruit, rose centifolia, musk, and oak moss. Sounds really interesting. I like the combination of notes there. There's nothing that stands out that I don't think I would like. I typically just don't really lean towards citrusy fragrances. I like them. I think they're really clean, fresh, great for summer, springtime, but just not really my personal style. I don't know. For whatever reason, I kind of associate anything that's too citrusy with a men's cologne, like something that's like a men's body wash, or like cleaning supplies usually have a lemony fresh citrus scent. So when I think of fragrance, I prefer something that's a little bit more floral or vanilla. They aren't notes that I gravitate towards. Just a personal preference. Throwing that out there. It might be really good. We'll see. The Sweet Diamond I'd heard so much about, but this citrus, I don't feel like I've heard a lot of people talking about this. So I don't know if maybe this was just one of their first fragrances, so it's not really new and exciting anymore. Oh, what's happening? There we go. It's trying to direct the spray. Oh, it's nice. I can immediately smell it wafting over. It's really pretty. This is a citrus fragrance that I could see myself wearing. Because it's not like a bitter lemon. It's a very smooth citrus. I think maybe it's the pink grapefruit rose musk combination. I don't really pick up a ton of oak moss. Maybe I would once it dried down on the skin. It's clean, but it's not harsh clean. It's not a soapy clean. And I think it's nice and feminine as well. Really pretty. It's so light. This is like a fragrance for somebody who doesn't really like fragrance, or maybe this is like a gym perfume or something that you just kind of spritz on every single day. If you're running errands, you're just kind of like a grab and go type of perfume. I tend to save my special occasion perfumes for date nights and weekends, but I still like to have those, you know, those great everyday staples. This kind of checks that box for me. It's not something that I'm going to wear for a date night or on the weekend, but I could see myself wearing this probably more spring, summer, not necessarily right now. Even though I live in Florida, I could definitely wear this now if I wanted to, and I probably will. But it just that daytime, you know, you're going to be spending a lot of time outdoors. You don't want to spritz something really heavy. You're not looking to make a lasting first impression when you walk into the room, at least not with your fragrance. This is perfect. So here we have our third first impression. This is Musk 12. On the back it says lotus flower, jasmine, musks, vanilla, and sandalwood. This also sounds really good. I'm kind of kicking myself here because I loved the first two fragrances. I'm not really familiar with lotus flower, but jasmine is in basically every perfume. Musk I really like. Vanilla and sandalwood is a killer combination for me. When I see those two notes together, usually it's game over. I think this sounds really promising as well. Another clear bottle, so it's not the really pretty mirrored bottle style, but still very luxurious. Looks like a gem. Here we go. It's really nice. It's very pleasant. It's pretty. It's very musk. It's kind of like a very clean, smooth musk and not much else, but in a good way. See, this is one I couldn't see myself ever grabbing this to wear alone. Could potentially layer with other fragrances in the line or other fragrances in my collection. I like musk, but I need there to be something else. And of course, blotters are deceiving. You have to try a fragrance on your skin, wear it for a few hours. It's the only true test of a perfume. Just kind of sitting here, spritzing it for the first time, very first impression is that it's pretty. It's a pretty musk perfume. I know musk can be very polarizing, so can rose. There are several notes actually that some people love them. When you love them, it's with your whole heart, and when you hate them, you despise them. You don't want to be within a 20-foot radius. I don't know if people feel that strongly about musk, but I do hear it quite often that, oh, I don't like musk. Oh, I love musk. I don't like it. I like it. I like it. Don't like it. So I could see this being maybe a bit polarizing as a fragrance. I think this is going to be best suited layered with something else. It reminds me a lot of Tom Ford White Suede. Maybe slightly cleaner, not as intense, but even White Suede is pretty light as well. This maybe doesn't have the intensity or the slight spiciness of White Suede, but very comparable. Next up is Elixir 11. This I've also heard a ton of great things about. The only two that I hadn't heard many reviews on were the citrus and the musk, but this one also stirs up quite a few emotions. And then on the back it says red apple, rose de mai absolu, jasmine sambac absolu, vanilla, and patchouli. Sounds good. Red apple is a really interesting note. Rose, jasmine, and vanilla all sound really good. And usually patchouli is nice. Occasionally I don't really like it in the fragrance, but I think this is going to be a winner. Let's see. I really like the dark, moody bottle and the name Elixir. This one sounds like it's more of a date night perfume. Ooh. Oh my gosh. It's very interesting. So unexpected. I don't want to use the word weird, but that's the first thing that came to mind was weird. Like, what is this? No, it smells good, but it's just very interesting. You know, based on those notes that I read off the back, you wouldn't think it would be that unique or that dynamic. You know, these are notes that I've heard in other fragrances, but this combination is wow. It's almost like it should smell familiar. It should smell like something I've smelled before, but then maybe it's that red apple note. There's something in it that just throws the whole thing off and makes it so different. And I think that's what it is. I think it is maybe the red apple. It's very powerful. It's a very strong fragrance, not overly feminine, which I kind of expected it to be, but still very pretty. The more it dries down, I think the jasmine absolute is coming through, but I feel like if this was packaged as a men's cologne, it would smell really great on a man as well. Of the entire line, or at least all of the fragrances I've smelled from Kayali, I think that I only have one left that I haven't smelled. This one leans a little bit unisex. And typically I'm not drawn to unisex fragrances, but that's not the case here. It would be similar to maybe like an Aventus for her from Creed. The two fragrances do not smell the same, but in that it smells a little bit masculine, or there's like a strength, a spiciness that you don't get in a lot of the softer, more feminine perfumes. I don't think it needs anything. I think it is so interesting and sort of captivating on its own. I don't know if everybody will love it. Of course, that's true with all fragrances. But I think even if you didn't love it 110%, I can picture this layered with maybe the vanilla fragrance. Definitely leans more date night, evening. I think this is a perfect fall winter fragrance. Now when I smell it on the blotter card, it almost smells like woods, like very elegant, sophisticated woods. I could see wearing this for a very special night out, like maybe an evening wedding. And my final first impression is the Deja Vu White Flower 57. This I purchased myself, I just haven't spritzed it yet, but I pulled up the information on the Sephora website. It looks like the small size is still the only one that's available. It's a warm floral. Keynotes include gardenia, jasmine, and vanilla. I love gardenia, I love jasmine, vanilla of course, so let's test it out. I was kind of surprised by how dark the juice is. It almost looks like a plum color, which I wouldn't expect, at least not from a white floral fragrance. I don't know if this is going to be deeper or what. Let's see. It's pretty. I definitely pick up the vanilla. I really like this. Right now, the vanilla is just so prominent, but I do get some of the gardenia. It's not quite as white flower, white floral forward as I thought it was going to be. I think I would need to wear it on the skin to really judge. Not my favorite gardenia fragrance, probably not my favorite white floral. However, I do think it's unique. I think it's very different from what you would expect from a white floral perfume. I think you get a lot of the vanilla with this. The last three perfumes I've already reviewed on my channel, but I do want to quickly go through them and also just jog my memory. So this is the Utopia Vanilla Cocoa 21. I think this was actually my very first Kayali. Came out earlier this year over the summer. I like it. I love vanilla, I love coconut, I love sandalwood. There's something about this that doesn't do it for me 100%. I like it, but it's a like and not a love. And I did say that in my review. I think it's nice, especially if you just want something that's pretty simple. But I haven't really grabbed this very much. I didn't really wear it that much over the summer. Now that I'm more familiar with the line, I could see myself wearing this because I think I can layer and I can kind of tweak it and play with it and make it perfect. On its own, it's just not a 10 out of 10 for me. Not bad by any stretch. It's kind of hard because I think even in my initial review, I probably liked it a little bit more than I do now. Now that I've smelled the rest of the line, there are some incredible fragrances that I tried for the first time today that I just prefer. I think they're so much better than this one. It's hard to compare because they're all so different and they're supposed to be different. And then more recently, I reviewed their latest launch, which is the invite-only Amber 23. This was perfectly timed to launch around fall because it is very spicy, warm, cozy. Beautiful bottle. It has amber. I think there's a rum note in there. It's so nice. It's definitely evening, date night. It's more of a power fragrance. Smells like amber, cinnamon, baked goods, just that ooey gooey yumminess. This will make your mouth water. And I love it. In fact, now I really love this on its own. But again, in my initial review, I sort of said I will probably layer this once I discovered the vanilla. I think these two together, that is the perfect match. I just prefer something that has a little soft creaminess. And even though the vanilla is a very warm, sensual vanilla, it just kind of elevates the fragrance, in my opinion. But invite only, if you want something that is a bit dramatic for date night, that is your perfume. And then last but certainly not least is Vanilla 28. I know we've already talked about this quite a bit, but it's kind of the backbone, I would say, of the Kayali fragrance line. If you're going to pick up only one, it should be the vanilla. Now, the unfortunate thing is that it's so popular, it's basically sold out everywhere. I think you might be able to get the small travel size bottle, and it's worth it. That way you can test it out and make sure it's something that you love as well. Absolutely see why this is the most popular and people rave about it and they can't keep it in stock. It really is a special vanilla fragrance. One of the best vanillas in my collection. I think it's one of the best, more affordable vanillas you can buy. And really, it kind of has everything. I think this is for vanilla lovers. If you love a decadent, sensual vanilla, this one you could absolutely wear by itself. You don't need to layer this with anything. I feel like some of the other fragrances in the line actually need to be layered with the vanilla. But this is just perfection by itself. In a recent message that was sent out to the Sephora squad from Mona Katan, who's the founder of Kayali Fragrances, she talked about Vanilla 28 and she called this the perfect perfume topper. And I really think that's the best way to describe it. You know, when we think about eyeshadows or blush, I have a lot of products that I would say are like an eye topper or a cheek topper. And it's just kind of that last little dusting, that last little something that completely elevates and changes the entire makeup look. That is this. Vanilla 28 does that for your perfume. So I think not only does this work really nicely with the other Kayali fragrances, of course, but this also just expands your current fragrance wardrobe. I mean, I could layer this with almost any other fall, winter fragrance in my collection, and it would just make it even better. I've been sitting here for the past few minutes sniffing all of the blotter cards, and I did actually attempt to rank them, which is very difficult to do because they're all so different. I think together as a line, they create sort of the perfect fragrance wardrobe in that you would have something to fit every single occasion you can think of. So they cover different bases. They do work really nicely together, but I can absolutely see somebody picking up a couple of them, like 2 or 3, finding the perfect combination and then wearing them separately. So they are intended to work together, I think, as a family of fragrances. They're all really strong. I am so incredibly impressed with this line, and what's funny is that the first 2 fragrances I tried, the Utopia Cocoa Vanilla and the Invite Only, they're not my favorites in the line. They're beautiful perfumes, but now that I've tried all of them, I feel like I have such a clearer perspective on Kayali. So starting with number 1, Vanilla 28. You already knew it was coming. It's such a beautiful fragrance. It's such a perfect classic vanilla, but then that is kind of your backbone. It layers beautifully with the rest of the line. So number 1, if you're going to only pick up one fragrance, if you're not really into the layering, I would say the vanilla is not only great for layering, but it also kind of stands on its own better than the rest. Number 2 is the Sweet Diamond. Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper 25. This fragrance is beautiful. I love this. It's kind of like a slightly sweet rose. I don't really get the spiciness, but I just think this is perfect. It's pretty versatile. I could see myself wearing it daytime or evening. I will most likely grab this for daytime, like if I'm going to meet my girlfriends for lunch or some sort of occasion where I want to smell really good. It's kind of a special moment. I'm dressed up. I'm not just running errands in basic clothes, but daytime. The third fragrance I think will surprise some people, and I'm not really sure I'm set with this at number 3, but it's the citrus. Now, I told you guys I don't really gravitate towards citrusy perfumes generally, but it smells so good. And you know, it's kind of bringing back a scent memory for me. When I smell this, I thought, what does this smell like? And it kind of smells like every teacher's classroom I ever had growing up. So maybe that's what it is. That's kind of peaceful and calming. Just like the Sweet Diamond, I would wear this daytime, but I think for a different occasion. So the Sweet Diamond is more of my elevated daytime event. The citrus is just that everyday spritz and go. If I'm just running to the post office or, you know, just running a few errands, I'm not really getting dressed up, I'm going to spritz a little something before I leave the house. This is perfect. And in that way, it doesn't need to be layered with anything else. I think if I was going to attempt to wear it for an evening or for an elevated affair, I would want to layer it. It's casual. It could be your everyday office perfume if you want something that's a little bit lighter. Always appropriate, not offensive, but low expectations. I don't need this fragrance to be really long wearing. I don't need it to have a ton of projection or be the most complimented or the sexiest. It's not that type of perfume, but I think for what it does, it's perfect. This is your no-brainer, grab and go, spritz with abandon, get out the door type of perfume. You're not putting a ton of thought into it. You're maybe even just kind of going through the motions, but you want to smell good on a regular basis. I don't care what I'm doing. If I'm leaving the house, I have perfume on. I want to smell good, but I'm not always going to grab my fanciest fragrance. Next, I'm going Invite Only. I really love this perfume. This is a very bold, spicy choice. I don't think it's perfect on its own. I will most likely always layer this with the vanilla, but I think together that combination is so strong, this had to be next. Number 5 is Deja Vu White Flower. It's so pretty. Just a soft white floral fragrance. Not something I think I would grab alone. Again, I will most likely layer this with the spritz of the vanilla. But it's so pretty, and I think if you love white floral fragrances, you want something that's kind of a clean floral, this could be a perfect everyday perfume for you. Then I have Elixir 11, and it feels too far down the list, but I'm just still a little bit unsure about this fragrance. I know I really like it, but I don't know where it fits in. I'm not sure where I would wear this? Like, what is the occasion here? I'm not quite sure. And then the last two are the Utopia Cocoa Vanilla and the Musk. Both really pretty, but not perfumes that I would wear alone. So again, these I would definitely want to layer. They're pretty simple. And then the Musk is pretty, but this is just not something that I would probably wear alone. I would want musk to be sort of the background noise. It would need to complement a different fragrance. And that completes my review of the line. As far as combinations, I'd say you're safe with anything and the vanilla. I'd like to try maybe the citrus and the white flower. I think that would be really nice. I need to work on the Elixir and the invite only. I think there is something else here that I just haven't discovered yet. And I wanted to hear from you guys. If you have any favorite combinations, any 1-2 spritzes that you've discovered, be sure to share your secret sauce down in the comment section. Don't be shy. But that completes today's review. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If this is a line you've been interested in, you now have some insight or you know where to begin. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, leave me your comments, questions down below. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.